Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm back. My first video I made speaking about my experiences with growing up with a pedophile in my childhood home. This is almost second video. To be honest, I'm just bored. I just want to make this video. Um, I just want to talk about things that I'm thankful for. Now that I am at my big grown age, I won't tell how old I am, but I know I'm looking a bit rough. I haven't had a haircut like in 4 months. Um, I don't know when next time I'm gonna get a haircut, to be honest. I just want it all to grow out. But that's neither here nor there. Um, to be honest, things I'm grateful for. I've been through a lot of my life, not to drag it out. I've been through a lot of abuse. I've been through a lot of betrayal. I've been through a lot of backstabbing. I've been through a lot of confusing moments. I've been through a lot of good things. I've been through a lot of good things too in my life. Um, whether it's school related, as far as academically speaking, friendships, family, traveling. I've been through a lot of good things as well. So right off the bat, I would like to say that I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That's first and foremost. I am grateful for His sacrifice for my sins. I'm grateful for having the Holy Spirit. I am grateful for Him renewing my mind. I am grateful for Him just being in my life. I am grateful that He's ahead of my life. I am grateful for just His very existence. You know what I'm saying? I'm grateful for God breaking all yokes of storms off my life. Um, One of the main strongholds I dealt with for a long time is ADHD and also speech impediment. Ever since I was younger, I've had trouble remembering. I had trouble concentrating. I've had trouble, I had trouble, just really remembering, concentrating. I used to daydream for like 15, 20 minutes at a time, and I think it's called I forgot what it's called when you I think it's called maladaptive daydreaming. I used to do that a lot. Um, I used to do that because I've been through so much abuse in my life that I would escape to my own world to escape how I was really feeling in actuality. And it helped a lot, but to a degree, it can become demonic. You know what I'm saying? Being trapped in your own world, it's easy for the devil to come and get you to think certain things and just rearrange your entire mind. But not trying to make this that kind of video. Um, I am grateful for Jesus Christ and His sacrifice for my sins and delivering me from ADHD and other things I may get into on a different video. Um, I'm grateful for my mother, for her giving birth to me. Even though there were times where I wish she didn't give birth to me because I was going through so much in life. I was going through so much rejection. I was going through so much bullying. I was going through so much hurt. Um, Growing up as a child, I was not treated the best. I went through a lot of physical abuse, a lot of mental abuse, a lot of sexual abuse, being molested and touched on. When CPS took me from my mom and they placed me with a aunt. My aunt was a pedophile, and as you guys know, because that's like my first video I made on this channel. Um, but regardless of what I've been through with my mom, I am grateful that God seen fit to use my mom to bring me to this world. Especially now that I forgave my mom, and my mom and I, we get along, we talk. We don't talk as much because right now, I'm more so focused on what I got going on as a man, getting my bases together. So my mom and I, we speak seldomly, but we do text. But regardless of the fact, I am truly grateful for my mom. I am grateful for her existence. Um, I am grateful for the good times that we did have when I was a child. Um, I am grateful for my mom being a big part of my life. Um, when I was a child, before I got taken. Although I went through a ton of abuse, um, there was so many pinnacle moments in my life when I was a child with my mom that I'm grateful for because it has also helped me to remember the 90s. I was born in the early 90s, and I was born early enough to remember Tupac and Biggie before they died, all the 90s cartoons and the cartoons that been on rerun in the 90s, the Bugs Bunny, the Daffy Duck, the Johnny Bravos, the Powerpuff Girls, you know, the very colorful windbreakers. You know, I remember how people used to dress in the 90s, the hairstyles, the shoes, the clothing, the cars that were brand new, and they came out in the 90s and early 2000s. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that my mom and I had such, you know, good times in the 90s that when I think about those times, it takes me back to a time that no longer exists. So I'm grateful for that. And I'm just grateful for my mom overall with like really no reason as to why, just besides the fact that she's my mom. And I'm just grateful for her. I'm grateful. Here's a big one. I'm grateful for my struggles. I am grateful for my struggles because it has helped me to be the man that I need to be, and I'm still growing. I can admit that I am a little behind because I grew up without a father, and my stepfather who was in my life, he was extremely abusive. He didn't teach me anything except for how to work on a car. Outside of working on the vehicle, he taught me absolutely nothing. So when CPS took me from my mom and placed me with my aunt and my grandmother, there was no man around to teach me anything about life, how to regulate my emotions, how to think like a man, how to operate as a man. I was in a house with two women, so I became very emotional, and my aunt was a pedophile. She was, you know, on an entirely different level of being a total predator. Um, so I became very angry. I became, you know, very hateful, very bitter, very unforgiving. But you know what? I am grateful for those moments at the same time because those moments have taught me to be strong. You know what I'm saying? And not let my problems get the best of me, and to lean on God. And I look at those things that I've been through as lessons. Although I didn't ask for those problems, I didn't ask to be put in those situations. Those were situations where it was out of my control. I couldn't control my aunt making moves on me. I couldn't control the beatings I got. I couldn't control being whooped by switches when I didn't deserve it. I couldn't control being molested when I was molested. I couldn't control the things my mom and my stepdad, my aunt and grandmother, and different people in my family would put me through. It was out of my control. But now that I've been through those things, now I know how to help someone who are someone who is going through those things, are even worse. So in a way, I'm grateful for my struggle. You know what I'm saying? Um, because it has helped me to become a very much stronger person. More resistant, and I am more prone to not leaning to my own understanding and understand the fact that I won't say this is what God wanted, but understand that God can use this as a testimony, and God can use what I've been through, um, working through me to help someone else. As I just said, you know, not repeating myself. Um, I am also grateful for. I am grateful for. I'm trying to think. I am grateful for. I would say my friends, but during my life, I haven't had many great friends, to be honest. Um, the majority of the friends I have are always, you know, left me. Um, dang, this is becoming a depressing video. I didn't want that. um, I guess you could say I'm grateful for the friends I had and have that are still in my life, or the friends that I had who are not in my life anymore. But when we were friends, they were good. They were a good friend to me. But life just took us in two different directions. So I'm grateful for those friendships. I am also grateful for the bad friendships because it taught me that not everybody's your friend. It taught me to more so not pay attention to words, but pay more attention to what someone does and how they treat you. Um, that words means absolutely nothing behind if no action follows. So I'm grateful for my bad friends as well, who stabbed me in the back, who left me, blocked me, everything like that. You know what I'm saying? Um, what else am I grateful for? I'm grateful for the fact that I got a chance to travel. I've been to London like 3 times or something like that, and I'm very grateful that I've had a chance to travel the world. I've been to Spain also. I've been to Madrid. I'm very grateful. Um, I've been to California multiple times, Los Angeles, San Diego, Long Beach, San Francisco. Of course, I've been to Georgia, uh, been to Connecticut, New Jersey, New York. Of course, I live in New York. I'm very grateful for traveling, because it has opened my mind. You know what I mean? And it has helped me to see and understand that not everyone lives how we live or how I live. Not everyone thinks how I think, and that's okay. And for an example, I was friends with this guy, and he was trying to convince me to start carrying a screwdriver with me. And he's like, "Oh man, you need to carry a screwdriver with you because people are dangerous. Living here in the Bronx is dangerous. Got to keep your head on the swivel." And I told him, I said, "Well, see, you think like that because you spent your entire life in the Bronx. That's why you think like that." But I said, if you come with me to California, to Los Angeles, to San Francisco, to San Diego, whatever, you will see that people think totally different from you. And you will see just how crazy you sound right now when you look back at it. So see, that's the beautiful thing about traveling the world is that it opens your mind. And especially when you leave a place like New York, Miami, Chicago, or big cities, especially on the East Coast, where people tend to be more arrogant and feeling themselves, and I would even say violent. When you move to places that are not such a placebo or dangerous and everyone's full of themselves, you begin to see that there's more to life than the hustle. There's more to life than everything is so important. Like you know what I'm saying? You will realize that it's okay for you to let your shoulders down and breathe and just enjoy life. So I really thank God that the chances and times I have the chances I've gotten to travel and the times I have traveled, it has really opened my mind. Especially when I went to London. I was into visiting London, living in London. Even the first time I went, I'm like, wow, I never thought that one day I would actually be here, but here I am, right here in central London. You know what I'm saying? Right here on Old Road, next to the Northern Line train, and going down seeing Piccadilly Circus and Trafalgar Square, Borough Market, then going to South London and seeing Brixton, Peckham Roy, going to Elephant and Castle and seeing there are also Dominicans there, and and I feel really good about that because my father, my biological father is Dominican, so I was like surprised and felt like at home a little bit seeing my people over in London. It's like, wow, like there are people in London, and once again it opens the mind that not everyone wants to live in the U.S. There are people from the Caribbean, from Africa, from everywhere in the world who does not desire to live in the U.S. So they move elsewhere, to Spain, to England, to Africa, to wherever. Because even when I was in Spain, I've seen some Puerto Ricans, I've seen some Mexicans, I definitely some Dominicans over there. And even at that point, it was an eye opener. Like, man, like the U.S. was like, I won't say we're not it, but it's true that not everyone wants to live there. That people want to live elsewhere besides the United States. So when you leave the United States, it's kind of open your mind to the lies that we've been fed this whole time. That we're the best country in the world. We're the best deals out there. No one wants to live anywhere else. But you have people in London who came from Mexico, Colombia, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Jamaica, especially Jamaica. They would tell you, oh no, we left Dominican Republic, we left Mexico, we left Ecuador, we left Brazil, came to London, and for all different reasons, but a lot of the reasons are, as far as the Mexicans, they're like, oh well, in the United States, you guys act like y'all don't want us over there, and even though Mexico is right below the United States, you guys act like y'all don't want us there. So a lot of us are coming over here to London. So there are a lot of Hispanics there for a lot of different reasons. You know what I'm saying? And it just begins to open my mind, like, dang, like people do want to live elsewhere besides the United States. That's kind of like, I don't know, like basic thinking. But keep in mind, this is my first time traveling outside the United States. Now when I go to London and I see, Dominicans and Mexicans and Moroccans and Haitians, it's not a big deal. It's still like a culture shock. Like, dang, y'all all the way over here. Y'all left the Caribbean, came all the way over here. But then again, there's tons of Jamaicans in London as well, and it's a very beautiful thing. I should make a separate video about London and my time there. And you guys forgive me for my mess up in my speech, because as I said, I have a speech impediment. So I tend to mess up my speech. I tend to chop up my words a lot. That's another reason why I'm making this video, because I want to get used to not being embarrassed by it. Another thing I am thankful for something as simple as my car. I wanted this to be a deeper, more in-depth video, but right now I'm very tired. You see my eyes are red. I'm in front of a camera, and I get in front of a camera, it's like I turn slow and I can't remember anything. I just, I was before I pressed, record, I had all these deep, intellectual reasons as to why I'm thankful and I'm grateful for this and for that. But as soon as I press record, it's like it all just leaves, and I'm like a child now. But I'm grateful for my car. Reason being, I have a 2006 Acura TSX. I'm grateful for the car because my stepdad, once again, as I said early in the video, the only thing he has taught me was really how to work on cars. And now that I'm at a point where I have fully forgiven my dad and I have spent time working on my car. And my dad has had a stroke about 3 years ago, and he's not getting worse. He's actually progressing, you know what I mean? His strength, his mobility, he's already back working and doing what he did before he had a stroke. But I was kind of saying to myself, because when my dad had a stroke, I didn't get any sleep for about 3 months, I think, when he was in the hospital. And then they moved him to some sort of rehab just outside of Tampa. And he was only one other three people who were allowed to move there, because it's one of the best rehabs in the entire country for people who had strokes and all that. They moved him there. So for like 3 months or so, I didn't get any sleep. I didn't get any sleep at all. And, I called my dad, and he was in the hospital, because he kept going in and out of consciousness. He wasn't breathing on his own. He was on life support. And then they took him off life support. He was breathing on his own. And then he stopped breathing on his own. And, they put him back on life support. So my dad was fighting for his life, So, my car, my dad and I have worked on my car together. From fixing the radiator fans, put an AC compressor on it. My dad and I have fixed a ton of things on my car. So my car now has sentimental value to me, which is why even after so much I've been through, I've been in car accidents with that car. I've been through about almost any and everything you can think of, but I still have it. And it's because of that reason that my dad and I worked on the car together. So unless I go first, when my dad passed away, my car would be the only physical reminder I have of him left. So my car means a lot to me, and I'm very grateful for my car. And I'm grateful because it's a Honda. I'm a Honda man. So all the way around, I'm grateful for that. What else am I grateful for? I'm grateful for a place to stay, because I used to be homeless. When I first moved back to New York City, I was homeless. I was on the street begging for food. And then by God's grace and mercy, I found what used to be called the Covenant House over on 42nd Street and 10th Avenue, something like that. I stayed at the Cove for a couple months, and then I moved from the Cove to Streetworks Homeless Shelter, which is on 145th Street in St. Nicholas up in Washington Heights. Well, it's Harlem, but it's bordering Harlem and the Heights. It's right by the Italian cemetery. Those of you from New York, it's like right by the cemetery in the West Side Highway. It's like right there. So from Streetworks, when I aged out, I moved to a shelter called Sylvia's Place down on, I think, 10th Avenue and 36th Street, up in that range. So I was homeless for almost a year, and I remember I used to sleep in Central Park, Bryant Park. I used to walk around begging for food. I was walking around sweaty and stinky, um, like going crazy in my mind. But I used to read my Bible for 5 hours a day. I still went to church, but I was in a bad spot, and I'm like, man, I might be homeless forever, and what I'm saying, I don't want to live on the streets and go crazy. But by God's grace and mercy, I got my first apartment in the Bronx, right on I forgot the street, not Kruger Avenue. It's basically on the 2 and 5, right there on Jackson Avenue in the South Bronx. Is right behind, or right next to St. Mary's Projects, and it is right behind the Domino's and the laundromat. I forgot what street that is, 'cause I'm so tired making this video. My second apartment was 2512 Kruger Avenue, up in the Allerton section of the Bronx, and then from there, my next apartment was in Wakefield, 231st Street and White Plains Road. I used to live down the hill, right next to Montefiore Women's Hospital and the nursing school. And from there, I moved to the best apartment I ever had in Flatbush, Brooklyn. I moved to one of the old school brownstone apartments, and my goodness, that apartment was freaking beautiful. High ceilings, and old school New York apartments. When you walk, the floor creaks. Oh, it's beautiful. So I'm grateful to God that I was once homeless and now I have an apartment, and I'm very grateful because now when I walk around New York, London, San Francisco, when I went, there were so many people who were my age and younger who were homeless and absolutely lost their minds on the street, talking to themselves, on drugs. I will never forget. I was in San Francisco and I was walking next to this Chinese guy, and he was kind of hunched over, barefoot, and he was talking and asking questions, and me being a very hospitable guy, I started talking back to him, and I'm questioning, is he talking to me? Because I don't know him. I don't really care, but I'm just curious. So when I looked to the side, he had slob coming out of his mouth. You tell he was high. He was, he was crazy. I'm like, oh snap! He ain't even talking. He talking to himself. Like the entire time I'm walking next to him, I'm thinking he's talking to me, asking me questions, but he's talking to himself. So I'm really grateful that God has kept my mind as well. I'm grateful for that too, that God has kept my mind, and I have a place to stay, because people don't understand until they go through it. But when you're homeless, it can really mess with your mind. It really can run you crazy. A lot of these homeless people are not just crazy for no reason. A lot of them are crazy because when you're on the street for so long, it stresses you out, and you see life from an entirely different perspective. You know what I mean? So I'm grateful that God kept my mind, my apartment, my car. I'm grateful for the troubles I've been through with my mom, Jesus Christ. What else am I grateful for? I'm grateful for living in a city like New York. I'm grateful for living here, even though, let's focus more on the positive, no more negative as far as this. The positive, I love living in New York because the diversity here. You can be someone here from literally every country in the world except for North Korea. I mean, South Korean, Chinese, people from Bangladesh, Laos, Nepal, India, Turkmenistan, Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, Turkey, Israel, Palestine, Jordan, Russia, Dominican Republic, Haiti, Jamaica, Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, all 52 countries in Africa, Australia. Like literally everyone is here except for North Koreans. If there are some North Koreans here, it's because they escaped some way, somehow. I am also grateful because the food, the culture here in New York, we have just about everything here as far as food and culture because everyone is here. And here in New York, we have I've had better food in different cities, but we have some really really good food here. Here in New York, even our bad food is good, to be honest. Um, so I'm grateful for the culture. I'm grateful that there's so many people from so many different countries who are here because it gives you a chance to learn different cultures. It gives you a chance to experience people who, if you lived in different cities like Los Angeles, Tampa, Miami, Atlanta, Dallas, Houston, even Chicago, you might not get a chance to meet them. You know what I'm saying? Because on the West Coast, even as far as Hispanics, you have more Mexicans, Guatemalans, Ecuadors. You have more of them, right? And out there are some Dominicans and some Puerto Ricans and some Cubans, but you really don't experience the Dominican and Puerto Rican and Cuban culture until you hit the East Coast, whether it's New York, Atlanta, Charlotte, North Carolina, Miami, all that. You know what I mean? So depending on where you go is, depending on what you experience, depending on what city you at. But a city like New York, everyone is here. Ecuadorians, Mexicans, Dominicans, like we're all here, And I'm grateful also for New York because New York has taught me to take nothing off of nobody. Don't let no one run over me, bully me, know when to walk away, and know when the battle isn't worth it. Mind your business when it's time to mind your business. To have some esteem about yourself. New York has taught me a very valuable lesson, and a lot of them came from very bad experiences, but we're going to stay on the positive once again. But living in New York has taught me a lot, and once again, one of the main things New York has taught me is to stand up for yourself. Don't take nothing off nobody. Know when to walk away because not every battle is worth it. Not everything deserves a response. Do things yourself. If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. And yeah, very much so. I am grateful for that because coming up, because of the bullying I went through, because of the rejection I've been through, because of everything I've been through at the hands of my parents and my peers and my family, I've always had low self-esteem. I've always been passive aggressive and let people run over me, use me, bully me. But since living here in New York for like 12 years now, it has really taught me to not be that way, to have some esteem about yourself, and to not let people run over you. Yeah, man. So I'm very grateful living in a city like New York. What else am I grateful for? I am grateful for, I would say life, but that's like a general thing. Like, what about life am I grateful for? I'm grateful just about life. I'm just saying life. I'm grateful that I get a chance to wake up in the morning in my own apartment, drive my own car, make my own money. I have my own business. I do security too, as you guys can see, but I also do photography. I've been to New York Fashion Week, New York Swim Week. I've been as far as Europe to do photo shoots, and I'm grateful for that. I've done photo shoots with my favorite musical artist, J.I. I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful that I get to wake up every day and go to the gym and lose weight because now I've been in the gym for like 2 years. I know I'm still fat, but I've been working on my strength for like 2 years and been bench pressing 300 pounds. And I never thought I would be this strong, but now I'm focused on cutting weight. I got to lose like 50 pounds. I'm grateful that by God's grace and mercy, every day I wake up, I have a chance to get my life together. I have a chance to excel. I have a chance to work on my mind, work on myself. I have a chance to make money. I have a chance to do a photo shoot and get my business off the ground. I have a chance to learn different things, learn trading, learn this, learn that. The sky isn't the limit. There's a whole universe out there. And every day I wake up, it's like a blank canvas. It's up to me what I'm going to write, what I'm going to draw, how I'm going to present myself. You know what I mean? So every day I wake up is a chance for me to soar towards the stars, reach towards the stars, man. Because there's some people who wake up every day but don't have the chances that I had. They don't have the opportunities that I have. There's someone right now living in, my home country of Haiti and Dominican Republic who don't have the opportunities that I have because I was born and raised here in America. You know what I mean? So they're in Haiti or DR living in the slums and don't have a chance to do nothing because they can't afford it. So they got to stay there and be poor and broke. But meanwhile, I wake up here every single day with a job, my own business, a car. I'm in my right mind. You know what I'm saying? I got an iPhone 17 Pro Max that I'm recording on now. It's like a $200 phone, So the sky is not the limit. There's a whole universe out there, you know what I mean? And I'm just so grateful for life overall because, once again, now I'm being repetitive, but to try to point home, every single day I wake up, I have a chance to change my life, to do better, to be better, to eat better, to learn more, to do more, to go to the gym and continue to do cardio and lose these 50 pounds. So I can look better. I can feel better. You know what I mean? I'm just grateful overall for life. You know what I mean? Not every day do I feel like getting up out of bed. Not every day do I feel how I feel now. Let's not get confused. But at the end of the day, I'm grateful for life. Yeah. I love you all. Thank you for listening.